Hey guys, and welcome to another GTA 5 MCEC race breakdown. Now, I want to say straight off the bat, this race here was quite a controversial race in terms of accidents and in terms of epic battles as well. So some really good points, and there's some really things that need to be overlooked and just broken down. So I do recommend staying all the way to the end of the video, because there's going to be some nice split screen orientation of side-by-side battles. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So I started in the 7th place in the Massacro in GT1, and as you can see from that finish, Smithy overtook me straight away. So I lost a position straight away. So basically what happened is this was a 37 lap endurance race, as it is, and it was a really good race. This track here is quite difficult. It's quite one-sectioned at given points of the track, quite a lot of barriers, and it's just a very, very hard track to anticipate some of the overtakes. There's one massive straight which is all bump dependent as well. So you've got to look out for that. But basically, what I'm going to be doing in this race is just breaking down some of the things that we could have avoided, and some of the best bits as well. So that's going to be interesting. So I do recommend you staying all the way to the end of the video. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So Smithy, what Smithy does there is he oversteers on that corner, which allows me to grab into 5th position straight, and we've got Shaggy and we've got Ryan in front of Shaggy, and then in front of Ryan we've got Doodle and then Macy as well on there. So all the top 5 there are battling towards the front. Macy started in front, and that guy pretty much led it all the way, and his pace was really, really on point. So this is the first lap. I just thought I'd show you the first lap of the track, just so you can get an idea of what the track is to be expected on. So sorry for the race face in the top right corner. I don't know who that guy is, but he's got a concentrated face, as you can see from there. So that's really interesting. So what we're gonna do is, as soon as the next lap starts, we're gonna get straight into the video. Now, as you can see here, voice break, I catch up to Shaggy, which is getting held up by Ryan. Now, Ryan is a quick guy. He was, in the top 2 throughout the entire championship last season, battling with Craig the whole way. But I don't think Ryan was, the most consistent and the quickest on this track, because I don't think he practiced it enough. So in a way, he was sort of holding Shaggy and me up, as you can see here, or he could have been defending. But from what I got from him, he even admitted that he wasn't the best for that, and that's fine. So Shaggy is trying to overtake, but Ryan is actually, even though he's not on pace, he's actually defending really, really well. So at the end of the day, you've got to give him props for that. But me and Shaggy are trying to overtake Ryan here, and this basically goes on for lap after lap after lap. And what's interesting is that as soon as this actually happens, what it allows everyone to do is just basically, for the people behind us, is catch up. And when people are catching up from behind, it puts more pressure onto you. So moving a few laps on now, we can see that Ryan, boom, hits the barrier and eventually does go into Baghdad. But that does open the gap for Shaggy to keep going, and for me to actually keep going as well. So what you're just seeing now is basically me and Shaggy going at it, for lap after lap after lap. This is probably one of the longest battles that I've had in a racing situation or in a tournament like situation. So anyway, we're going to move it a few more laps now. As you can see here, this is the last half of the track, and me and Shaggy are still going at it, and we're just trying not to make any mistake whatsoever. So what we're going to be doing in this video as well is we're going to be breaking down some of the overtaking zones in terms of the slower classes. So GT2 and GT3. Obviously, you've got to respect, the other classes as much as you can, and try and overtake them as best as you can on a clean, area of doing so. So, rules are, standard procedure is, GT1s are you're meant to horn a few times when you're in range with them, and then on a straight, then you can pull off on the outside, or if they're going on the inside, then try and, obviously cut through. So that's the way of doing it. But in this race, for some reason, there was a lot of arguments on, you know, who took someone out or who overpassed someone when they wasn't meant to do, and, you know, disrespecting other classes. And you know what? I kind of put that down to the track it down. You know, track was quite bad for 30 cars of this pace to be doing that, because it's very, very hard to get a clean overtake, especially when you're in a fast car like the Massacro and you're overtaking a Penumbra, because the difference in acceleration is just, you know, mind-boggling. And, you know, most people didn't have mics in this race, so, you know, the people that were talking were trying, you know, were saying, you know what, I'm going for the overtake, but there was no communication on their end, so you might as well not have had a mic, you know, you might as well not have done that whatsoever. So I think that's something everyone needs to improve on, is at least, you know, be in game chat and at least have a microphone there and then, so you can communicate and you can say, you know what, I'm going to slow down this next corner, go on the outside and overtake me, and, you know, that's the way it's done. So before we get into that, overtaking, you know, breakdown, you can see here the battle is still going on between me and Shaggy, and you probably saw there was a GT3 driver that already let go straight away, and he did it well. He, you know, saw me and Shaggy coming. I for a fact know that I was beeping to let him know. It was also going down the mic as well, and he did well. He pulled off to the side. Didn't lose much time on his end, and, you know, just let the two drivers go on, because, you know, GT1s are overtaking at the end of the day. They're going to keep overtaking. So, and because battles commerce in all classes, you've got to let that fast class go at a given point. There's no point holding back a GT1 driver, because you're just going to cause more cars behind you to get clusterfucked. So I overtake Shaggy here eventually, because he oversteers on that corner. And now what I'm doing is just trying to be as consistent as possible and just trying to, you know, focus on first and second place, because Doodle and Macy have absolutely caned it. They have gone because of this battle that me and Shaggy were in. So as you can see here, we're approaching a GT3 driver, and obviously sticks on the inside there, which allows us to go past onto the main highway. So the highway on this track was really, really good for overtaking. The bad thing about it is, you know, you had to wait pretty much to the end of the track to actually get that overtaking zone. So what I'm going to show you now is basically, now I've had a conversation with Fatch, which is the guy in front now, and I do believe that what he did here, in my respect, was he could have held off to the outside, because as we were going up that left-hander highway, I was beeping, you know, and he sort of had notice to, you know, at least shuffle to the left and not take the middle line or the defensive line. However, you know, it's down, maybe I shouldn't have been more aggressive and, you know, maybe waited, but, you know, there's two cars behind him, and there was a lot of room and a lot of, you know, notification on his end to say, yep, there's two cars coming, and that's something you should back off. So here, you know, I'm taking it patiently. I'm not going to dive bomb a GT2 car. I'm just going to wait to the straight here. So as you can see, I go around the outside, try and get as much gap as I can, and for some reason I nearly missed a checkpoint there, so I had to cut in. But as you can see now, the acceleration on Massacro compared to a Penumbra is absolutely insane. So you've just got to keep going. Whew, this is a long video, guys, but I hope this is worth it. So as we can see here, now what I'm going to also say is, for 28 cars to stay in the race, people with weaker connections are going to lag. So that's another important factor, and lag is a big issue in GTA. If someone hasn't got a reasonable connection and you've got like 28 cars in the lobby, you're going to get lag spikes, and you're going to get quite a lot of them. So it's just something to pay attention to. So what happens here is I completely overcook this tight left-hander, and Shaggy just overtakes me straight away on there, and, you know, the battle is happening again. I'm behind him. He's trying to be consistent, but what you can actually see in front is Doodle. Now Doodle was second place, so I don't know if he actually choked, but what you're going to see in throughout this video is battles after battles, and, you know, Smithy 112 as well, which he's going to have an absolutely sick race, because the battle that me and him had on the last few laps was just absolutely insane. So I've got his point of view as well to show on screen, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, as you can see here, 31 minutes into the race, and we're approaching the time where you start to feel a bit dowsy. You start to feel a bit like if you make a mistake now, your pace is just going to go off as well, because you've been racing for, let's say, 25 minutes straight, and you're getting tired, your hands are aching, and you've just got so much thought process to do. As you can see here from the guy in the top right corner, he did not move an inch. His face was absolutely, steady shot completely. He didn't even blink, I don't think. The only thing moving more was the actual monitor behind him in terms of the actual screen. So, you could probably pay this guy to actually stand like a statue in town and raise money. But what we're going to do now is show the same corner. And again, I slightly overcook it, which means Shaggy can sort of catch up on the inside there. And now we're going side by side into this section here. But we're 33 minutes into the race, and me and this guy are still battling. So that's how insane it was. So I defend on the inside here, so I cut in and then take the inside because I know that a left-hander is coming. However, what that means is Shaggy here can grab the outside, and because I oversteer, that's exactly what he does. So he takes that into advantage. So that's another overtake for this guy. So we just keep overtaking each other, and it was frustrating, but in a way it was so sick to actually see a battle like this go on for 12 laps straight on a 2 minute 24 second lap time on average. So that was pretty cool. Now, another thing to point out as well is the next track is going to be an airport track. Now, an airport track which is going to have vans, which is Ron Raceway. So that track's going to be quite slow paced compared to this. So an airport track, you've got more room, you've got more time to think about stuff, and obviously you've got slower cars, which means everyone can sort of be on pace because you don't really need to get the best out of a van on an airport track. You're pretty much accelerating the whole time, and that's crazy. So anyway, getting back to this race, so me and Shaggy here catching Doodle up, which is just about 2 seconds in front of us, so not a lot whatsoever. And you can see Doodle in front of him. If you pay attention to the map now, he's got a few cars in front of him, so that's slowing him down, which is allowing me and Shaggy to actually catch up to second place. Now, another thing to point out as well is the GT2 drivers now were starting to lap as well. So GT3s, was obviously that was going to happen, but we're going to start lapping GT2s now, so that's even more cars on the field to actually pay attention to. And you can see this down this main straight now, there's literally like 8 cars on one given road, and me and Shaggy have now got to overtake people on some tight hairpins. So what happens now is we've got Evil in front, and obviously me and Shaggy behind, and then we've got Thatch again. So Shaggy overtakes him, and then Thatch does well to stick to the outside on that point there, so that was GG to him. So now we've got to get past Evil, and Doodle is overtaken. Now what you're seeing here is Smithy. Smithy is the car which is shown big on screen now. At this point I didn't even know Smithy was here, so me and Shaggy are obviously concentrating, and this guy comes out of nowhere and just takes an overtake round the outside to me. Now, like I said, I didn't know this was happening because I was so focused on battling with Shaggy and battling with trying to get past Evil on that straight that Smithy just came out of nowhere and completely wrecked me completely, and it took me out of surprise, by a long shot. That was an understatement. So now we've got a 3-man battle, and Smithy on this track was, insane. His pace was absolutely out of this world. This guy was dropping a 2:22 and he got the record throughout the race. So, you've got to pay attention to that. So now, what I said on stream was I've got to actually put pace on now. I was going for pure consistency. Now I've actually got to start pushing, and because if Smithy goes, this guy's going to go. First he's got to overtake Shaggy, and we all know Shaggy's quite a good defender. He's actually a very good defender, but he's, if Smithy does go, then he's got the pace to actually lead the race. So what happens here is quite a controversial moment. Smithy decides to go on the outside of Shaggy, and you know there's a bit of lag going on here, so he actually ends up clipping the barrier. Now that is down to whether or not Shaggy did actually hit him on his screen, or if that was lag, because lag compensation in this game is absolutely incredible. You know, you can either be hitting a car on your screen and you'll be hitting a car on their screen, or sometimes you can be hitting a car on their screen, but you're like, you know, you've got a bus gap between you two. So that's, you know, that's GTA. That is GTA for you. So as you can see, you're probably thinking, where did Smithy go? Well, obviously he choked on that barrier there, so that allows me and Shaggy again to start battling. 44 minutes into the race, and me and this guy are still bumper to bumper, overtaking each other. I'm in the lead, then he's in the lead, then I'm in the lead, and it goes absolutely crazy from now. Lap 17 out of 37, and the night has started to hit us again. Because, as we know in GTA, the night and day overlaps every, is it 40 minutes or 45 minutes, something like that. So, night time on this track's quite scary because of the barriers, and you've got to pay attention for that. So, Smithy choked, right? But what you're seeing is, if you pay attention to the map, he's still behind us. He's still behind us, and he's catching up. And because that guy's got the pace, and me and Shaggy are battling, you know, slowing each other down, he's obviously going to catch up, and he's obviously going to cause some problems. So, you know, either Shaggy has got to put on a defensive strive, or he's just got to go for it. But then if he goes for it, then he could choke, and then he could end up, you know, sacrificing positions. So at this point, it's a mind game whether or not to push it or not. And you know, that's a scary thing to do mid race when you're 47 minutes into a race. But I mean, it was an incredible race. You know, I was really looking forward to this race because it's a really good track. And it's a really, really, you know, nice environment to be in when you've got 28 cars around you. And to be fair, I've said I don't like the Massacro, but in this race, it was actually an enjoyable car to drive. It felt quite nice, and you know, it does feel really good on certain corners, like fast, flowy corners. You can just put your foot down, and it just, you know, sinks through it really nicely. So, as you can see there, I tried to grab the sand boost on the side there, but then Shaggy already short shifts into a gear. So now we're sort of going neck on neck, near enough into the swooping right-hander here. And as you can see now, we've got another car in front of us, which is a GT2 car, I think it is, from here. So we've got to make a decision now on where to overtake him. So at this point, me and Shaggy are beeping just to let him know that, you know what, we're on our way. But I get a nice cheeky dive bomb there, and I stick to the inside here, so that means Shaggy can't cut me in. But then what happens now, I go into this left-hander here, and Shaggy sort of tries to go for the outside. I grab the curb, which allows me to go further. Now this is something interesting. What I want to happen now is, I'm going to let you guys listen to the live footage, because this was a major controversial moment in terms of, you know, what's happening behind, and, you know, lapped cars, and I don't know what Shaggy was doing, or, you know, whatever happened to his scenario, but just pay attention to this, and I'll see you guys in a couple of seconds from now. I'm expecting bad things here.
Whoa, Doodle. You just came out of nowhere. Whoa. Oh, yes!
So now might be,
Right, okay, so what I said here was bad things are about to happen. Now, Shaggy says his L2 didn't work. Now, if you pay attention to this screen here, his button obviously doesn't work, because there's no way on earth this guy would brake just before the barrier. That would not happen. You don't even have to have, you know, an inch of a brain cell for you to know that is not going to work. So that's happened before. Analog sticks have like jizzed out onto when you're taking a corner. That's happened to me. L2 has never happened to me, but I do believe there's situations and other people out there that have done the same thing. So you've just got to pay attention for that. But I sort of predicted something was going to happen, and I even said bad things are about to happen. So that was kind of scary to see. But yeah, we're just focusing onto the race. So that allows me to grab second position, because Shaggy obviously had an L2 meltdown and went into the train. Unfortunately, he took out someone else as well, But what you're going to see here now is a lag takeout. Now this was crazy. You can see it just goes straight into me, and that was lag. But what you'll see now is he went off the map. No, he didn't, because he's in front of us now. So, like I was saying, if you've got poor connection in GTA and you're with 28 drivers, it's kind of a bad thing to do. So you can see Danny here makes a nice decision, just sticks to the left-hand side, and I say I'm coming to him. And I don't get that dive bomb there. I sort of wait for the straight, because you might as well wait for the straight to overtake someone. But as you can see, lines are getting switched, and that's something that everyone needs to do, including myself. You know, if I was getting lapped, it's something I need to do. But this is the footage I want to see. We've got the earlier incident where Thatch was in sort of a middle line, and we've got Bruffy. Now, Bruffy sticks all the way to the left, as you can see on the left-hand side, and lets me pass. This is where I was saying where Thatch could have literally done what Bruffy did and just stick to the left-hand side. Where I personally think what Bruffy did was correct, because, you know, he's only going to lose 0.2 of a second from that, and, you know, it's just going to let GT2 driver or GT1 driver go through. But again, that's something that is down to the racing moment. I just believe if you see a car behind you, a faster car behind you, and it's coming up to a straight and a hairpin, you might as well just let them go. But as you can see here, Smithy caught up to me. This is the 82nd minute of the race, and this guy overtakes me, and then he chokes. That's right, he chokes on a barrier where I don't know how. I don't know if he was looking behind or not, but it was crazy. And then what we've got here is a few laps more, and he's still behind me. So he choked, but obviously he spun out in a good position because his car flicked round, and he's right behind me. And if you pay attention to the minutes, guys, in the bottom right corner, this is literally second to last lap. You know, this is it. And Smithy's behind me. This guy's dropping world record times. This guy's putting pressure on my ass. I can feel it burning from here. And I've just got to be in defensive mode. I've literally got to be in a defensive mode, because if I let this guy past, he's gone. He's got that second place position straight away, and there's no way I'm catching up to him, because he's just got that momentum and that eager to actually go for it. So we're going through here, and the worst thing is I see a GT2 car, and thank God it was on a straight, because I do reckon if it was on the first half of the track where you got loads of twisties, then things could have turned out differently. But as you can see, I take the inside line to try and defend, but I sort of oversteer there, and then the Massacro understeer kicks in, hit the wall, go over this nice little jump there with the sunset banging. But then I make a mistake by going to the outside. I should have stuck to the inside where the sand boost is now, because now Smithy gets an absolute major boost, and this guy has just gone. He is like, at this point here, I'm like, you know what, guys, I've messed up. I've just let Smithy go on pretty much like near enough to the second to last lap, and this guy's just going to take second position. And then I do an absolute fail of a dive bomb. As you can see there, I handbrake it towards the end to actually try and justify myself and to get round. So that handbrake there was just an absolute saviour, even though it was the worst dive bomb in history. I don't know even what happened there. Like, I could actually, you know, put that down to being one of the worst overtakes or attempted overtakes in GTA history. But I sort of recovered myself with the handbrake, and now Smithy on the left hand side has got a GT2, which I'm not. Alright, so a bit of contact was there, and it allows me to overtake. Now, whether or not what happens in that scenario, I don't know. I'm not speaking for those two on that behalf, but I get into second place position again, and this is a battle going on now for the wire. So we're cutting through here. That was so close to that tree. Smithy grabs a position. I'm on the inside line now. Get a nice little exit here. Going to the curb, because obviously that is the way to do it. But at this moment, this is the last lap, and I'm feeling sweat from my palms dripping. And then I see Smithy choke. Now, Smithy choked quite a lot in this because he was so quick. I just think he was going way too quick, and, you know, he was just putting himself off in that respect. But I managed to grab second position the whole way through. I didn't choke once. I didn't put, well, except for that attempted dive bomb, which was an absolute fail. But I brought second position home, starting all the way in 7th. But as you can see now, 2 minutes 22, Smithy dropped, and I was just dropping 2 minute 24s, you know, trying to get that consistency going. But yeah, guys, that was race 2 of the Multi-Class Endurance Championship, and what an absolute race it was. It was probably the most controversial race so far of the season. And I do think, you know, some people can take some hints on, you know, what to do or not. And, you know, this is only going to get more, you know, more attention for the next races. And, you know, drama is all about, you know, racing and drama go together quite well. It gets the hype going. So I think incidents like this actually make the championship better, because it just gets a lot more talkative throughout the groups and things like that. But yeah, that was the final positions. Macy absolutely creamed that race completely. Shaggy actually overtook Smithy as well on the last few corners as well, so that was pretty interesting. But what a race that was, guys. I'm really pleased with that second position. So the next race will be this Sunday, and it will be happening on the it'll be happening every time, 8 o'clock Sunday, the 20th of March, which is going to be the Ron Raceway in the airport track in Vans. So that's something to pay attention for. But yeah, guys, this has been a nice video to look at, and I just hope that, you know, racing people that don't have racing in their sort of spirit in GTA can see this and think, you know what, I want to do this. So sign up to the Nodo forum, sign up to, you know, Apex forums, and just get active in things like that. All the links will be in the description. So yeah, guys, hopefully you had a nice day. I'm tired as hell. I'm going to bed from recording this video. And yeah, see you later, guys, and subscribe if you are new, and yeah, peace.